Good morning. The International Monetary Fund IMF has reiterated that India would have the growth rate in his financial global outlook report, economic outlook report, said that the financial year 23 India's growth rate is going to be 6.8%, which is the uh, largest one in the world. दुनिया में सबसे ज़्यादा ग्रोथ इस समय ग्रोथ रेट इंडिया का होगा 2023 में. So the IMF reiterated their the 6.8 growth rate for India, while terming the country a bright spot and major engine of growth. Amid an expected fall in global growth to 2.9% in 2023 from an estimated 3.4% in 2022. In 2022, the IMF has claimed that the global growth in 2023, they have forecasted that global growth would be 3.4%, but they reiterated because of the global atmosphere is not too conducive to claim that. So they reduced the growth 2.9% in 2023. The global growth is 2.9%. But they reiterated again that India's growth would be 6.8%. And the Indian chief economic advisor also claimed that India's growth rate would be in the between 6 to 6.8% in the financial year 2023-24. So we have very positive atmosphere, 9% plus growth rate for my exports in the current financial year up to the December month. So quarter 1 to 3 quarters, if we add the export of India, 9% so rate. So the growth in India is not to decline from 6.8 in 2022 to 6.1 in 2023 before picking up to 6.8 in 2024. With resilient domestic demand despite external headwinds. Okay. Despite external headwinds, domestic demand India has. So the Indian domestic demand, if government pumping money into the hands of the people, then the economic activity definitely would start to grow. So Indian government has very recently on the 1st of February proposed its budget, and he said that I'm going to expend 34 lakh crore rupee into the total government budget, and he's proposed that we would definitely pump a lot of money into the hands of the people. The government going to expend a lot of money, so definitely would revive the economy in a great extent. Because of global headwind is definitely because the global economy is in the recession. Yeah, Europe is in the recession, and United States is in the recession. United States India trade relationship, India is in the surplus. India's trade in the United States $125 billion, and he is in the positive in the trade. So the World Economic Look update of January 2023 IMF proposed. In October, the IMF fund said that the strong recovery in the South Asia is expected to take a breather, with the Indian economy expanding at 6.8% in the financial 23, revising down to 1.4% from point since the April 2023 economic outlook says that the IMF expects global growth to rise to 3.1% in 2024, 3.1% in 2024, means the next year, financial year. India remains in a bright spot. Together with China, it would amount, very carefully, you have to listen this, together with China, it will amount for half of the global growth this year. If the China's economy and Indian economy added together, it would be the 50% of the global growth this year. 50% होगा ग्लोबल ग्रोथ का अगर दोनों को ऐड कर दिया जाए तो. दिस इज अ मासिव थिंग. This year versus just a tenth for the United States and European area combined. Okay, so they have only 10% contribution this year in the global growth, and 50% shifting towards the Asia. It is a amazing thing. US and Europe, okay. The Reserve Bank of India has also forecast 6.8% growth in financial year 23, while the World Bank has pegged it at 6.9%. The National Gross Domestic Product (GDP) growth without adjusting for inflation is seen as 15.4% in the financial year 23. The nominal growth rate, nominal GDP, if not adjusted with the inflation, is 15.4, 15.4% growth rate. So sharply higher than 11.1% assumed in the budget. So the budget से भी ऊपर है. India's GDP has grown 8.7% in the financial year 22, boosted by the pandemic induced low base of the preceding financial year 21 financial year. For emerging market and developing economies, the growth is projected to rise more modestly to 4% in the 2023 and 4.2% in 2024 from 3.9% in the 2022, with an upward revision of the 0.3% percentage of for 2023 and to downgrade revision of 0.1% point by 2024. About half of emerging market and developing economies have lower growth in 2023 than in 2022, according to IMF. As per the report, the global inflation is expected to decline this year, but even by 2024. Projected average annual headline and core inflation will still be above pre-pandemic level as more than 80% of the countries. The rise in the central bank rates to fight inflation and Russian war in the Ukraine continue to weigh in economic activity. The IMF said that according to the rapid spread of the COVID-19 in China, dampening growth in 2022, but the recent reopening paving the way for a faster expected recovery. The global inflation is expected to fall to 6.6% in financial year 2023 from 8.8% in 2022. Global inflation, in 2023 was 6.6% from 6.8% in 2022, 8.8% in 2022. The global inflation, 8.8%. Global inflation due to the war and pandemic. 8.8% global inflation is a very big thing, and now it is cooling down to 6.6%. It is also much higher 2023, and it is expected that in 2024, means next year, 4.3% they would come down, cool down to 4.3%. But it's still pre-pandemic level. Pre-pandemic level means 2017 and 2019 level was 3.5%. The global inflation is good up to the certain level, but if it crosses the level, so it harms the global growth and increases the unemployment, etc. If the economy is sluggish, the things would be in the bad direction. Things go into the bad direction. The IMF cautioned that severe health outcomes in China could hold back the recovery. Russia's war in Ukraine could escalate, and tighter global inflation conditions, financing conditions could worsen, debt distresses, and financial market could also suddenly reprice in response to address adverse inflation news, while further geopolitical fragmentation could hamper economic progress. I am very keen and I am very optimistic person, and we are expecting that the countries would come out from their hard economic pain. My western countries, the Pakistan, is suffering greatly because of the very recent economic failure and the political failure as well there in the country. Thank you very much. Light has gone.